Hello and welcome to Brick Gaming Ligio. Today I'm going to be doing my ban list predictions for the 2019 July 1st ban list. So first off, for cards that I think will get banned, and this is just personal opinion as well. So let's start off with Guard Dragon LP. This is the main card that basically is dark combo for all the Guard Dragon combos, and this is the first one you go into. From there you go into Triple Burst, and then you go into pretty much all the other Guard Dragons. And there's so much you can do with this. This card has been proven to be broken in a lot of decks, but I think at this point the card just adds a lot of versatility and will most likely get hit on the next ban list. Next card, Nightmare Mermaid. Now the reason I think Nightmare Mermaid will get hit is because pretty much it's a one card combo into all your Orcus plays. All this card is used for now is for Orcus combo. It's not used for anything else really. I haven't seen one throw down Ib in a very long time, and this is just a star card. It would make it a lot harder to go into the Orcus combos, because at that point you would need Open Orcus plus another monster, and you would have to start with Galatea, which is at that point very subpar. So it would just go from a 2-card combo to maybe 3-4 card combo. Unless there's some insane build out there that doesn't use Mermaid, but every single build I've seen has used Mermaid, and I think Mermaid will most likely get hit. Next, since I don't own the card Multi-Roll, I think Multi-Roll will probably get banned. It's pretty much one of the strongest cards in Sky Strikers right now, and as proven by the European Nats, as well in a way just by tops in general. Sky Strikers are still around and kicking, and still one of the best decks in the game. They've been around for over a year now, and it doesn't seem like they've been very much slowed down by the hits. They just keep adding in new cards to the deck that keep recycling their cards, such as their Equip spell that can recycle Kagari back into their extra deck. So I think Multi-Roll will be a fair hit for that deck. I think the deck will still be around, just more as a rogue deck. Now, moving into what I think will get limited. Starting off, Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine has been proven to be kind of a clutch card for a lot of decks. Like, a lot of decks can just utilize this card and do so much with it. But, in my opinion, it's kind of an unfair card. Like, it definitely puts the opponent at a disadvantage, and generally a player who controls this card can turn it off at any time. Generally, as well for this card, generally it's used in basically burn decks that just slowly play, and basically makes it impossible for you to play, and your only real out is back row hate, such as Twin Twister, MST, cards like that. So at this point I think the card will most likely get hit. Next is Salmon Great Gazelle. I think this card will fall in the OCG where it got limited. I think the similar thing or same thing will happen in the TCG. Now, first off, the reason Gazelle is so powerful is because, well, it's basically a star card for Salmon Greats. And limiting it to 1 makes it somewhat less consistent. Sure, Salmon Greats will be very consistent, but it'll be much harder to loop Gazelle. Plus, if your opponent call buys the Grave It, or even hits it with D Crow, it basically puts Salmon Great at a very large disadvantage. Next, Saryuja Goldie. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying that this card should be banned, but I'm going to stick with the opinion that it should be limited. Most decks that play it in multiple copies and are able to draw multiple cards off of it. I think at 1, it'll put down a lot of those combos, and a lot of those combos will be much harder to do. At 1, I think it's still fair. A lot of decks could still play it. It would still be a versatile card. Another thing is the set coming out called I believe it's called Dual Devastator. This card's going to reprint that set. So I don't think Konami would hit at this point, since there's an upcoming reprint. So I think it'll probably get limited on the list. Next, Daigusto Emerald. I think Daigusto Emerald can come back to 1. I think the card hasn't done well in a very long time, and I also think that the card isn't as broken as when it was around in Zoo. Also, a lot of decks don't even play XYZ anymore. Sure, rank 4s are still used in some lot of decks, but Daigusto Emerald I don't think would be the first choice, and I think it would be fine if this card came back to 1, especially since Zoo isn't around anymore. Next, for limited, Jackalope, don't own a copy, but I think Jackalope would be probably the best hit for Danger. I've seen people say hit Nessie, I've seen people hit Tsukinoko. I think hitting Jackalope would be the best option as a free body. Sure, Tsukinoko could be also a good limit, or Nessie. Any of those 3 cards could be good limits for Dangers, but just in my opinion, Jackalope would be the best hit. Next for limited, Chaos Dragon Levianeer. As proven with the NAWCQ, as well as the European WCQ, This card definitely comes in clutch and definitely puts a lot of advantage on the board, either by hand looping or destroying cards on the field. So I think at this point it would be fair to hit Chaos Dragon Levianeer 2-1. And I think it would still be a card usable, just not as often or not as easily usable. Kind of more like a card I draw into. And I think even with Dangerous around would be a good card and probably easy to draw into, but I think that one will be a fair card. Next, for semi-limits. So all my semi-limits are cards I think should come back in the game. Starting off with Trishula. I think Trishula at 1 has no relevance. I think at 2, it'll probably still have very minimal relevance. There aren't very many decks playing Synchros. Synchro Fusionist hasn't been around for a very long time. And I haven't seen any Trishas come down in a very long time, either in competitive play, local play, etc. So I think Trishula back to 2 would be fair. I've seen people saying maybe 3, but I think 2, and from what I've seen Konami do in the past, I think 2 would probably be where it would be put at if it came off the list. Next card is El Shaddoll Construct. Now, Construct and Shaddolls haven't been doing anything. Even with Construct back in the game, Shaddolls haven't had any real tops. The only thing that I really see Shaddoll doing is playing Winda and Orcus sometime, and I think Shaddoll at 2 would be, well, El Shaddoll Construct at 2 would be fair and would be fine for the game. And I think it would be even be fine at 3, but looking realistically, it would probably be at 2 if it were to come back to even more copies. Next, Dynamite, can't speak. Dynamite Knight, a True Draco Fire. Now, I think for this card in particular, a lot of people have a lot of hate for True Draco, and it's kind of a stun dash doll deck in respect, like not to the extent of like Mystic Mind Burn or other decks like that, but I know that there was, well, a lot of people have stigma towards this deck, and a lot of people think that True Dracos, even now, are unfair. But I think Dynamite coming back to 2 would be fine. My reason is, deck hasn't topped recently, hasn't been doing very much. I think putting this card back up to 1 would be fine, and probably wouldn't change anything too much. Also, this card's kind of been power crept in with a little bit since when it was first released and since it was limited. The deck hasn't had any tops since 2018. It's 2019, halfway through the year. I think the deck would benefit from having this card at 1 more copy. I think that would be fine. Next card, Emergency Teleport. Now, Emergency Teleport, lastly was relevant was in Cosmo. Cosmo was around in 2016. It's right now 2019. There aren't any decks that are really playing Sidekicks. Cosmo has gone Dark Destroyer back to 3. Dark Destroyer at 3 copies, and the deck still has done barely anything. I think I saw 1 original top for the deck, and that was a top 8 deck profile for it. But outside of that, the deck hasn't done anything. Emergency Teleport isn't really utilized as one of. I might have seen it like maybe in combo deck or something like that, but the card really hasn't done much since 2016. It's been 3 years since this card's been at 1, and it just hasn't done anything in that time. Next, we have Maxi. And this is more for hopes and dreams. This isn't like something I'm predicting will happen. This is like, I hope this card comes back. I really do hope Maxi comes back. I think the card will be completely fair. There's 3 ways to hit the card right now. You have Caught by the Grave, you have Ash, you have tons of ways to hit this card. I think it will also make a lot of decks more balanced, and the respect to all going first decks make these unbreakable boards are impossible to play through. I think Maxi would really help going second decks, and also really help out going first decks, especially against decks that do insane combos and just kind of set up 6, 7, 8, or even more. I think the card would add a lot and make the game a little bit more balanced. Now, I'm not going to say this card's going to for sure come back or anything like that, but hey, it could. Also, kind of for unlimited, another card that I think, another 2 cards I think should be unlimited: Necroz's Unicorn and Shuret. Both of these cards haven't really done much since Necroz hasn't really been a thing. Sure, it might top locals or win locals once in a while, but it's not going to be like winning YCSs or regionals, like definitely not winning them. So I think having both of these cards come back to 3 will be completely fair and fine. And now finally, final card. And this is once again another hope and dream card that I really hope will come back into the game, but I kind of doubt will. That Grasshook Screener. That Grasshook Screener was around back in 2018 at 1. It was amazing, but the reason it was so good, and it's for 1 card only that really broke that Grasshook Screener decks. Fairy Tale Snow. Fairy Tale Snow completely broke every single That Grass Looks Greener deck. And that's what made the deck so good. Because you could send a whole bunch of spell guards to your graveyard and then use Fairy Tale Snow. But Fairy Tale Snow is out of the game. And I think Grass coming back into the game, even that one copy, will be completely fine for the meta game. And I think it will also make Worlds a little bit interesting in respect. Now, I'm not going to say that's going to definitely come back or anything like that. I think it will probably stay on the ban list for much longer. But you can always hope and dream. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions, questions, etc., anything along those lines, feel free to leave in the comments below. Thank you.